Tuesday, July 1st, the 250 Celebration Commission. First, we will begin by, did I say 200? Yes. Introduction of committee meeting. I am Kathy Corson. I am the co-chair of the committee. Julie?
Julie Gilman, Select Board Rep.
Caroline Neal, Parks and Rec Rep.
Jonathan Ring, at large, Exeter.
Françoise Elise, Heritage Commission.
Barbara Rakunas, Exeter Historical Society.
All right, we have approval of minutes, and there are two, and I did send them, the June 3rd and the last one, the 17th. Did you guys get to, very well done, Francois, thank you very much. Yeehaw.
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
June 3rd?
Both.
June 3rd
Well, one
and
at a
June
time?
7th? No.
Okay,
let's
June
do it.
3rd
Let's
and
be
June
renegades.
17th.
So I get a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, those are good. I will let Pam know upstairs. All right, so we can go through the timeline. And, oh, Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Wait, you just,
She's here. I just am sharing the screen with her so she can see the.
Hi, Karen, can you hear us? We are on, okay. I believe we have you muted, but we can do you know how to unmute her? Don't worry.
I can.
Oh,
yeah.
The dog is barking in the background, Karen? Is that why we can't? Oops, now you just lost her.
I did lose her.
Just being quiet, just listening in.
Okay. All right, so Karen Pryor is here as well, so make a note of that. I'm just doing that for if anyone's watching, we can only hope that somebody cares. Okay, so timeline events. So I did the timeline. Did everyone get one?
Yes.
And I know to make it bigger next time, but thank you. Caroline's got it bigger here. Is just an overview. Well, let's go to it's the Saturday, the 27th. I am not good at Excel. This is the best I can do.
Oh, this is great. This is great, yeah.
Yeah. So I have, and we probably need some more notes here. Obviously, we're going to do more things, but this kind of gives us an idea. So the first one is the Black Hawk and military event at Parks and Rec.
And do we want to like bill it as the opening event?
I think so,
Okay,
yeah.
an event, yes.
Opening.
Yep, okay. Great. Right on this, because I put a little more. Okay, so we'll put that, I think, for, if people click on this, it's good to have this kind of, done. So then, so that will be maybe a military band, maybe, a ceremony with a government official, that sort of thing. So you guys are working on that. That's awesome.
Yes.
Then Sunday is possibly the clam bake on Swayze Parkway. And I don't know, what are people, when I look at this on a Sunday and I look at, what we have going on right now, because this is a great, what was the weekend like last weekend? Were there a lot of people in town? Were there not a lot of people in town? Would a clam bake work? This is the formal event. This is the clam bake, lobster, whatever, like Portsmouth did possibly. Do you think that would work? Yeah, on a Sunday. Okay.
I think what we should do is right now start saying people from Exeter do a staycation for the 4th.
Staycation. I like that.
Yes.
Maybe that can be part of that flyer.
Yeah.
Anticipate a staycation in 2026.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
You don't have to get particular about what days or what, just throw in a couple of things that are the most important.
Yes.
Or most interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that it all isn't interesting. Yeah.
what should we call since we're gonna have the opening event, let's make
How about something, spend the 250th with us or something?
Yeah, that's great. Spend the 250th with us, yeah, at home.
Yeah, at home.
Yeah,
No need to travel.
right.
Or something like where independence happened first or something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Love
good.
that one, because New Hampshire is where it happened first.
Okay, so, yeah, we could work on that. I thought Philadelphia or Lexington was where it happened first. We could say New England.
January.
Okay.
Let's go with it.
Okay. Well, then I think we have to, Barbara, we have to have on that thing a disclaimer of law. So you could have a,
Or just say where independence
Explanation.
happened and just leave the first part of it off. You don't need the superlative.
happened and continues to.
Just
Okay.
I mean,
Or something, how about where independence happened and is happening still today?
Yeah, that could
I
be
think we
it.
can
like
play
a
with it. I think we can
parentheses.
play with it. We can play with it. But I think something other than staycation, it's like, what's the call to action to get people to stay home?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are thoughts. So who is working on that?
I just haven't had a second.
Working on what?
The little flyer we're gonna have.
Yeah. I should be able to get it done with our interns this week.
Okay.
I just haven't.
Yeah, no, you started camp, yeah.
Yeah.
We understand.
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, if we don't have it for the brass band thing, I mean, we can do it in the fall. We can have it
Right,
in the fall.
right. We should be able to, I can have it for the next meeting as a.
Yeah, we need to have it for Brett. I was there last night and
Yeah.
I could have passed out or talked to 50 people, 100 people
Yeah, good.
about, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you think?
Okay.
Give us some advance feedback. So it's got to
Okay.
be next
I can
Monday.
get it
I don't
next-
have this
yeah.
much time, but I'll be there on the 14th and 21st as well.
Perfect, yeah.
So our next meeting is what?
You're just talking
The
about Friday.
15th,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we could have like a preliminary one and then we could, for that, and maybe, 50 of them, and then we could refine it, because we kind of know what they look like now, and then we could refine it at the next meeting, because our next meeting is until the 15th, so if you feel,
Yeah, I can do it the 21st and the 28th.
Okay,
It doesn't have to be by the,
oh, okay, all right, so let's do
but I'll
that.
be the
Great.
14th as well.
Okay,
And I can have our interns, once we approve it, pass it out at Tune and Fork and at the Thursday night concert.
so that, yeah, after
Yeah,
the,
that'd be awesome.
after the 15th, okay. So let's call, what are we gonna call that clam bake, just while we're going through, 250 what? Seafood fest.
I was gonna say seafood, but we're only doing two types of seafood, but clam bake is pretty.
Yeah, clam bake. Clam bake,
Or lobster fest. or-
community, clam bake,
And this is a ticketed
Yes.
event, so it's just for,
Yeah, thanks for putting in where we need money.
yeah,
That's good.
okay, so, yes.
Well, those tickets will be in advance, so that'll
Right,
be,
okay, great.
we'll know
Yeah,
a month
yeah.
ahead.
yes.
We've got 100 people, we got 500 people, whatever. it
Right,
is.
that's a good thing. How long in advance do they need to know?
I'll have to get back with them, but I believe, at least when I was getting married, they needed a month's notice for
Okay.
numbers. But I think the more lead time we give them with an approximation, because it's very different, 100 people to 1,000 people.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
and it affects their staffing and all of that, so, it depends on what they can accomplish, they can definitely do 1,000 people, but, yeah.
And, yeah, so, and whoever, we were thinking, is that a good day for them? That was the other question. Because they do weddings on probably Saturdays. So that's a question. All right, so 250 clam bake, and then the Monday is the brass band, and we're gonna try to have vendors just a simple, ice cream and even hot dogs, American, hot dog. But maybe we could get Lexi's to come, who said, And basically same with the townhouse events, townhouse common
Yeah.
event, right? I don't know what we call those.
Tune and fork.
Yeah, but I mean, so
Oh.
250, we're gonna call it
Tune and
250.
fork?
Tune and
Yes, like, yeah.
fork. Tuning and fork.
Yeah, I get it.
And the brass band, if we just have a theme, I don't know.
Yeah, we can ask them to.
Spice it up.
They confirmed, I talked to her yesterday, I talked to Holly yesterday, and she confirmed that that's their first concert of the season, so nothing special.
Perfect.
So that's great.
Excellent. Then Wednesday, which is really something that we can continue throughout the week. Oh, and I wanted to say that Julia, who couldn't be here today, she and I talked. Let me just tell you what she said. Find it. She said that she's going to do, let's see. What she's decided to do, that it says that, they host a library summer reading kickoff party on July 1st. So that, okay, so a kickoff party.
Do that in the
Can you repeat that, please?
They're gonna do a library summer reading kickoff party on July 1st. And the theme is going to be read, white, and blue. I love that. And then they're gonna have patriotic themed activities in the park, like Founding Fathers face painting, patriotic paper, windsock craft, and more. And then, so they can probably help too with the timeline, with maybe in conjunction with you. So we had proposed, Julie, to get people out to the Powder House, because that's really where it's at, is to do, you know how they have those storyboards on the Riverwalk? I don't know if you've ever seen. So this would be a timeline. We have to get the mill to be with it. So, you know, like stakes with timeline of what things were happening and what.
for William and Mary and.
So it's timeline of the Revolution rather than timeline of Exeter
I
history.
think it's
Don't say
time-
Exeter history because it's very long.
Whichever. Whatever works.
Revolution.
Whatever works. I like
Yeah,
the
I
whole thing,
It's
but
good.
keeping democracy alive, I don't.
Oh, yes, I do like that theme. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Invented now.
But that may be controversial, but we'll see.
Forge ahead.
Okay, forge ahead. Okay. So a timeline, so it makes people go out to the powerhouse and learn
What it is.
Yeah, what it is. You know, that Clemson Pond used to be our sewage treatment plant. Yeah, things like that. So, and then we could do some historic walks, which you already do, centered around 250. So.
Yeah, and I'm gonna call Historic New England and see if they're doing anything with theirs.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Never opened. That's right. So that would be,
You have to call them or Ed Rowan. Ed does the dosing stuff there.
No, I'd call them just
Okay.
to see if it's something bigger than.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, so that could be that kickoff. So it kind of can bring people through to all the other events that, I mean, the big event is obviously our parade and Old Home Day, but this is a continuing thing for at least Wednesday through Saturday. And we could keep it up during the Revolution War days and all that stuff too.
We don't have much in the morning.
No.
Yes. I was wondering about, remember they talked about paying the crosswalks with
Oh, right.
that's something we need to put in the budget. But we could do that, just before, like the Friday before we start everything. Well, it needs a couple days to cure, so. But also, I was thinking about the sidewalk shop for the kids.
Yeah, we could do also, how they did the window themes too. You know how they used to
Oh,
do
the
that?
chamber does it, yeah. At Christmas, there's the window
Yeah.
competition,
Yeah,
so that's easy. We could work with them on doing a patriotic themed window.
so this is something, Julia brought up that she has somebody that isn't old enough to work at the library, but would like to kind of do, say, a quasi internship, and that's what, so I'm thinking she maybe inviting this young woman, and then maybe Molly Cowan's kids, and then whoever else that we can think of that might, I don't know if there's some kids in the
Ben and Sam go to camp, so.
Huh?
Ben and Sam.
Oh, good,
Molly's
okay.
kids go to camp.
And I don't know if you have some young people that would be interested that come to the Historic Society.
We have some high schoolers, but they are usually scattered in the summer.
Okay. So I'm just thinking, because this is the time we can get them to come to one of our meetings. So if you can think of that, maybe we do that a second, well, the July 15th meeting, that could be our push to see how we can get them to be part of it. So I'm reminding myself this, so I make sure that people come.
Do you want July 15th to be a topic that we discuss how to get them here or have them here?
How about if we have them here? Does that make sense to you guys? Because we only have them, and if they want to come to the next meetings, they only have like 3 meetings to come to before they go back to school. All right. So I'll tell Julia that, and then I could tell Molly about that.
It's tough because it is a camp field trip day, so
Okay. They would be hard to get.
it would be hard. They might want to go on the field
Well,
trip.
how about if we say the 15th and then the next, which is August?
Yes.
Whatever. Okay, so we'll give them the option.
Perfect.
Okay. I think only one of them was maybe interested, I don't know.
Yeah.
So then, so that is a continuing thing. That could be an all-day thing. We could, maybe, is that when you think we should do that painting, or should we try to do it that Monday in the morning?
The sidewalk?
Yeah.
Is that something DPW would have to do?
Yeah.
Well, painting crosswalks, yeah.
Painted crosswalks,
we have
right.
to budget the paint for that. We should do it before this all starts.
Yes.
Because it needs to cure.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be like a backdrop, festive.
Are we looking for more morning events? Is that what we were?
I thought so, but.
Yeah.
We're trying to, we're a limited group, right?
Well, like
And-
the
and,
history walk will be something
Yeah.
that will be already up, and people can do that. And then the Historical Society is probably not going to have actual walking tours. We have self-guided tours that we can do.
I feel like we worked with AIM and did a downtown historical walk one year, because it wasn't with you, it was with AIM. Okay, so, and that was super popular, and it's very easy to do. And we could do like a couple of them, even if we wanted to be on like Tuesday and Thursday or something, so there's 2 of them for people to join.
Right.
on.
I think you could do, more than that, just and different themes if they had the volunteers to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Karen?
Kathy?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm away, so my brain isn't functioning right. But what we can also add to that in the mornings, and if we can just have this reflected in the notes, it'll remind me to talk to the folks at AIM, is next year our theme is going to be, we're going through the Bill of Rights. And next year our whole theme is going to be freedom of speech. And what we can add into the morning is probably the days that the museum is open is tours in those mornings, museum tours, like grab a coffee and come grab a coffee and a donut and come have a tour, that sort of thing. Because it'll already be all set up. And so we can add that to the calendar very easily.
Okay.
So tours at the museum, and my guess is maybe the Broadside may even be there by then. So I'm not sure. I mean, I know it's in Concord. Yeah, we may be. Oh no, it won't be there by then. What am I thinking? It's not. Well, it might be there for the 4th. You know, that's actually something we should put in the notes too. It's like, do we want to try to have the Broadside in Exeter for the 4th? Right, Julie?
Yeah, the 4th is a Saturday. Right now, this year it's going to be on display until the 12th or something like that.
Well, it's in Concord right now.
Yeah. And we get very little credit for the museum. So,
But I guess what I'm saying is I wonder if we should bring it in early before the Independence Festival and have it on display that week as well. If we reflect that in notes, if people are interested in that, I can follow up with AIM on that. And we can offer tours that week as well, which we can add to the calendar.
How do you display it, and is it something you could do in a way that it's outside? I know that sounds terrible.
I don't think so, Kathy. It's under really tight security.
Okay, I just wondered if there's a...
No.
Nice.
No. And it can't be exposed to elements. I mean, no.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. A van, just saying.
If the notes could just reflect it, I'll be happy to follow up on what the possibilities are, but I can absolutely guarantee that we can offer tours that week. And we can fill the gaps on the calendar. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, so we're back to the crosswalk too, but maybe the Friday before this all happens, does that make sense? Like I don't know if we can get some kids from your Parks and Rec and from the library to come and have like a ribbon and cut the ribbon of the, while they paint it or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yep. They can all be in ribbon cutting ceremonies.
Huh?
So they can all be in ribbon cutting ceremonies.
So, all right, so we're talking maybe I don't know.
I'd have to talk to Steve Ron about that.
Okay,
About when they can paint and how long it
Okay.
takes to be
right, because maybe it's,
usually only a day.
right,
They do
well, or a
half
couple hours.
They do half the street one day and the other half the street the next day.
So, like, even if you did it before the kids got out of school and, the Main Street kids came over or something, some of the classrooms or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so here's an idea.
That's a great idea.
Right?
Yeah.
God, sometimes I have.
This is a question in general. On some of these things, do you want to have an introduction that says, this is 250 anniversary, something about democracy and Exeter part of that, something short, but then why are we doing these modern events? Because we can.
Right, I think that's the nitty gritty where we're just kind of doing the overview right now, but that's a good thing to have a standard introduction on any of these events, right? I'm sure Barbara can come up with some. Okay. And reason for the theme. But hopefully, since this is a United States thing, that people are, it's kind of like, some people are not here in bicentennial, Caroline. But most of us remember the bicentennial. John, you're too young for that, right, John?
I remember it.
Yes, so,
Which reminds me about the time capsule.
yes, we had a question about that. See, there you go.
If that's something we can do one morning.
Don't look at what it was in it.
Don't know whether we need to do one for a 50. So the time capsule was actually a cemetery trip.
Oh my gosh. Where was it?
It is it's up in Gale Park.
That's big.
Yeah, it's huge.
That is big.
And it has to stay buried until 2076.
Oh my
So we're
gosh.
opening it now.
Oh.
So they're gonna open it in the tricentennial. People that are here, Doug Dicey is still around.
Yeah, he's up with me.
Among the items placed in it was savings account from 2 banks, and a bicentennial silver medal from another bank, telephone book,
I love that.
placed in time, an Exeter street map, a copy of the script from the most recent production of the Exeter Players, Council on Aging cookbook, Exeter Youth Hockey patch, bicentennial stamps, Phillips Exeter Academy catalog, town old home night programs, pictures of the downtown, town reports, school reports, Rotary Club banner, Junior Women's Club bicentennial cookbook, 2 vials, one with petroleum and one with kerosene. I wonder why. Do not know why. Sportsman's Club patch, police and fire badges, program from the sesquicentennial celebration in 1926, and a list of items placed in the capsule. It says, covers 4 typewritten pages, which I haven't found yet, if there's more in there. It also had a package of pantyhose, a zipper, a tea bag, and a package of tissues, among other things. So they got things from all these other organizations, the churches in town, the banks in town, the DAR, Chamber of Commerce, Exeter Players, the Rec Department, Fire Department, PEA, Rotary Club. So there were all sorts of things that were placed down.
Debit cards.
Yeah, we could do, yeah.
So if we wanted to do it, we're at the 50th, we're not at the 100. I almost feel like this should be something done.
Yeah, we're not.
76 should be the next one. Otherwise, we'll have these buried all over town.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Looking for them like.
I wonder what they put it in that they don't fall apart. Do half of these things fall apart?
Tea bag, I'm like, is that even?
Yeah.
How about the petroleum?
Well, it's in vials, so let's assume that those are in
But like,
glass.
yeah.
Yeah, you do have to be careful.
All right, we don't have to do that. That's all.
All right.
Okay.
We don't have to open them either.
So, all right, so we'll move on to Thursday, which is the movie 1776 with popcorn and other vendors. So we'll work on that. So you've got like 3 times that we have vendors here for this week. But that's, I think food is important. Food is what connects us, you know?
It is.
So I think that's really, you know,
We get Darren involved with that. He knows all of the, there's an organization of food trucks.
okay.
And wants lots of, give me some time beforehand and it's gonna be a busy week for vendors, so.
Right, so we should do that now. We should
Yeah.
book these things now. And Caroline has a bunch too, right, from the powder keg?
Yep.
So-
Yeah, and we work very closely with the chamber, and they have a food truck festival in Stratham, so they have a whole list of good vendors as well.
Yeah, because actually, any of these events, even like the Friday thing that we thought, which is pretty, that could be a morning event or an afternoon event, which is the kayaking event.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be,
Probably
probably
look at the tide, because the tide does
Tide,
matter.
okay.
Yeah.
That's gonna make a difference.
according to the tide. Tide
That
chart.
might tell us whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening.
Right. So that is another thing. I don't know how big it would be, but it's like an armada of kayaks and canoes.
250 of them.
250, that's our goal. Okay, 250 kayaks and armada. That's great. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Even if we could get 25, it's gotta be something with a 2 and the 5. Okay.
And they're bright colors, so
Yeah, that'd
we
be
used to do
fun.
it for the LY.
But if
We
somebody
need to get a drone photographer for that.
Yeah, well, that's Joe.
Yeah, okay.
if somebody rents one in the morning and then a little later, that can count as two.
Okay. All day.
250
We,
total.
we actually, at the, the kayak rental should be free that day, but first come, first serve.
Yeah, we don't have very many.
I know.
Yeah, but we could have a free sign up,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
then
yeah,
we'll just be encouraged.
yeah.
Kathy,
Yes,
Kathy, Camp Lincoln also has a ton of kayaks. They might, we contact the Y, and they might be willing to bring some over for the day.
okay.
And then there are folks all along the river that have their own.
Yes.
We'll just have to reach out and make sure they.
I have 4.
The very tippy kayak.
Oh, we don't want that.
Oh, no, it's fun. I guess.
Okay. So, once we get this all down, I feel like then of the members and everything is that one person they need to work on that event.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna work on the event, but one person is the head of the event. Or we find somebody
Right.
that's not on the committee that will, it doesn't all fall on Parks and Rec. Although you've got, some of these
Some
are
of these are already, yeah.
happening, but it's more the part that we are in. And really, so one person can kind of take that, be the head of it. Doesn't mean you have to do everything, because I think we're all busy. Jonathan's gonna round up all these people to be on these things, right, Jonathan?
Oh, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering, putting it in your ear right now, don't forget. Talk it up. I see you walking around town with all these guys,
Oh, yeah. But
right?
they're all old. And they'll be
Yeah, but-
dead by then.
They will not.
Some of them will.
That's very cheerful.
And they'll be in a better place.
Uplifting. Okay, so then the last one is obviously our Old Home Day parade with concert. That's the big one.
What do you see as the Old Home Day? It's been so long since we've had one.
I think we were thinking relay races and such.
Oh, yeah, Crazy Games.
Yeah,
Do we make potato sacks anymore?
we do. You guys have them?
We don't have them, but we can order them.
Oh, fun. So they're, just fun little things.
Do you like a race?
No target shooting, but,
They make like archery with marshmallows on the end, so you can shoot it's not like a marshmallow. I don't know how to describe it other than it's a arrow with a marshmallow.
Oh.
So you can hit a target
Yep.
without it piercing. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Then there's a good old cornhole,
Mm-hmm.
which we used to call beanbag
I
toss.
know,
Yeah.
I liked
It's like, what?
Yeah, we had
Suddenly changed
cornhole
names and become
boards,
this
we
big
had
deal.
You could have a
Foursquare.
cornhole tournament and people would come.
Yeah, we've got beach volleyball, we've got badminton, we've got all kinds of
Yeah.
yard games.
Yeah.
Giant
I
jengas.
saw this really interesting one on TV. It was a drama, but they hung big cupcakes or rolls or something from trees.
Yeah.
You had your hands behind your back.
Oh, like with donuts. like we
Donuts,
used to
yeah,
do it,
yeah, we used to do that with
Halloween.
Halloween.
Fire
yeah.
barn, yeah.
Or don't do apple dunking
Apple dump.
because what happens is there's too much swallow and spit. Yeah, after 2020, we
Guess
don't do
lawn
those
darts
things.
are out too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
lawn darts are out. I mean, I don't think you could do horseshoes on Space Park, but, you could have some fun.
We have bocce, we could get
Oh, yeah.
croquet and set that up.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of fun.
Yeah, just real, as long as there's, food and fun, I think people will do it.
So you're blocking off the whole week to be like all of you.
Trying.
All right, so we pretty much have this. So then, our question is budget. And I don't know about the parade, but I suspect it's, $5,000 to $10,000. just the parade, just the bands and then police duty.
We have a jumping people around here.
I think we had one once. I'll have to. So,
But not in Exeter.
but I think we should just set it at 10. And then, you guys are doing the Black Hawk.
We do. I would like to request an additional 5,000, just so we can pay for the military band, and then, extra things that we might want for it. And then the other thing is, I think we had talked about maybe like a token or a giveaway, and we had talked about, I'm blanking on what they're called now, but the military, like the little tokens,
Oh,
the
the
challenge coins. Yeah. Maybe
Yes,
making
yes.
like a challenge coin or something to give out at all of these different events.
Yep.
Or I don't know, I know the police make the UFO patch, so if they wanted to do like a 250 patch or something.
With our logo on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, and then,
Which they already have.
the walks, and we could ask with this walks and timeline, also the library obviously has funds that they designate for this. I don't wanna reinvent something that's already budgeted, I suspect it's gonna, I don't know, Old Home Day is gonna be, if we do, trucks, that the food doesn't cost us, but we were gonna do ice cream sundaes or ice cream, which would be another, I don't know.
Do you know if the food truck event, the trucks rent a space?
Yes, so they pay for a space and then they sell food. But you look at things like the Hampton Seafood Festival and they pay like $7.50 to get in, but they make like $20,000 each, so.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be as big as the Seafood Festival, but.
No, I just wanted to, that is an income stream.
Yeah.
Plus, we have donations that we can get, so,
Yeah.
we do have to kind of dig down deep on that, maybe, I would be willing to sit down with somebody in kind of a subcommittee on that, or two people that are going to meet for coffee.
For the food trucks?
Just for budget.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Fran, you and I guess, okay, we can do that. The other thing, okay, so then, logo. Let's do the logo.
Let's do the logo.
Because we have 20 minutes left, because we started a little late.
Karen, can you see my screen? Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. So that was one.
I don't like that one.
Okay.
The other one that had more blue on it, maybe if
There
at
was.
least the
That's nice.
stars were.
That's nice.
That would make a nice patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Since our color is blue, that makes
Yeah.
sense. It is my favorite color, just so you know.
So we like this one?
Yeah.
Do we like this one?
No, because for a patch, you
Right.
then are gonna lose that blue.
So we
Or a
like.
button.
Or a button,
Yeah.
exactly. That is a nice button right
Yeah,
there.
that is.
Karen, do you have any?
I think you've done a really nice job, Carolyn, and whatever, I like that one a lot. Could you scroll back up a little bit? Yeah, no, scroll up again.
Yeah, there was and these are courtesy of Joe Stagnone, so I wanted to give him credit.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't,
No, I like the blue one.
Blue,
yeah, 'cause
okay.
it's our official color, let's keep with it.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
What version is that? Blue ring?
Yeah.
Blue
Or
with
number
yellow. Yeah,
A yellow or gold?
blue gold.
Yeah.
Nice job, Caroline.
Well, credit to Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Credit to whoever, but thank you for putting it together and picking it up.
Yes.
All right, so it's very similar, well, you know how, Julie, you were looking for at one time, it's right there.
Oh, I know, I made him put it back, we found it.
Oh, okay. I thought I was losing my mind lesson, but I was like, we were like, we couldn't figure out where it was. And
it was there.
It was down in the basement.
okay, I feel much better.
Kathy, when it's appropriate,
Yes.
Kathy, when it's appropriate, I do have an update on the commemorative poster. Just let me know when you would like to hear that.
No, I think we're good with the, why bother with the logo? We got it done, so let's go.
So I met with Sarah Koff, and she is completely on board with doing a commemorative poster. And we're thinking we're also going to tie it in with an event with Exeter Fine Crafts. The idea is to have the commemorative poster ready in the spring so we can start promoting it and selling it. We're going to do two versions of it. One where, it can just be a print and reproduced, relatively inexpensively. And then we're also going to do a quantity where we can do, signed limited editions. What we talked about was really, with an artist, in my opinion, you don't tell them exactly what you want. I gave her a lot of background information. She's thinking about it. We have time, plenty of time, because she's not going to have it, we're not going to launch it really until the spring. But one of the things we talked about was the ideas, what is the question? So in tying it in with Exeter Fine Crafts, they do an annual fundraiser or a biennial fundraiser to raise funds for their programming. And I had met with them, and they really love the idea of doing something around the 250th. And so the idea is I don't know if anyone saw it, but they put out to local artists, they can paint 6x6 paintings. And then they're put on display, and people come in and they purchase them. It's a first come, first served basis. Each little print was $50. And what Sarah and I talked about was putting a theme around it for the artist. So instead of saying, it should do this, what would the question be? What is independence, or what is freedom? I don't know. I've actually talked to Joe Pace about that. What should the provocative question be for the artists to address? And maybe it's nature. I don't know. Maybe it's our rivers. But that's the question, right? And then we put these on display, and we have an event. What we've talked about is having an event at the down at Folsom Tavern, where all the 100 6x6 paintings are put on display, and that's a bit of a fundraiser for both. Either can be for the committee, it can be for AIM and Exeter Fine Crafts. We can figure that detail out. Sarah will do a presentation on how she developed and what her thought process was around developing her commemorative poster. So it could be a really nice, fun event. But anyway, it's really very much in the idea stage, but she's fully committed to it.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Is that similar to I think the Seacoast Art Association does kits where they give out a small canvas and I don't know if they give paint and brushes or something, but they give a kit and they sell it. And then you...
No, what we're going to do is solicit local artists. So, and they can submit. We can give them the 6x6 squares, but it's really submitting local artists. So when I went to the one this past year at Exeter Fine Crafts, certainly there was many SAA artists represented there. I mean, one of the paintings I bought was an SAA artist. So it's really incorporating as many artists as want to be involved. We're saying 100, maybe it's more than 100, maybe it's 250. I don't know, whatever. But the idea also too is a conversation with not only Sarah, but it could also be a conversation with any artists that come to the event. Why did you paint it this way? How did you answer the question? And we want to make sure the question's not cheesy, right? Like, we don't want to say, what does America mean? I don't know. We got to come up with the right question, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that's something that can be non-show the whole... Yes.
Yeah, it could be, and then we have an event around it at the end or something. People could come see it, and yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's being developed, but I'm really glad that Sarah's on board. I think it'll be I think I'm looking forward to seeing what she comes up with and working with her. She's really excited about it.
Does she have an amount of money that she would, a cost?
We haven't even gotten there yet. For all I know, it may be what a portion of the proceeds from the sale of the posters and or the signed limited editions.
Okay. Just wondering, because we can put that in the budget. That's the whole thing, so.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so, great. I think that does anybody else have an update on anything? Okay.
So am I to understand that we're gonna put this in your flyer with your interns?
Somehow.
And it'll be like a thing like that big?
Yep.
And it'll be Sunday, Saturday, Sunday,
yeah,
Monday,
I think
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
You just say a week of events. I don't think
Including
you want to.
blank.
Well, I think you should
Yeah.
list them in
Yeah.
order.
Depends on
in
how,
order.
don't put too much on it.
Yeah.
You maybe use
Well,
the back.
proposed list of events.
Yeah, you could do the back of it.
Or tentative list.
Yeah, so the front could be very simple, catch people.
Could be one
And the
side.
back could be,
Could be one
I
side, it's
don't know
easier
how
to
you put all
print.
that on.
Cheaper to print.
Types of things we're doing, parade.
Yeah,
It may have to be two sides.
I think it's gonna be something we use
Talking
and
to
then we don't, then we
Yes.
change it. It's gonna be an ever-changing thing.
That's
We've
okay,
got a year.
tentative.
Yeah, tentative,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Anybody else? Do you have anything?
Not yet.
No? All right, so seeing none, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
And what's the topic, the biggest topic for next meeting?
I think we really have to talk about the budget, and then if we can get the young interns, we could talk about what they, how they could be involved.
Did we already pick like what events are gonna happen January, February, March, April?
Well-
This is the intense week
Right.
in July, but we have, for the budget, with the budget, we
Well,
need to know what we're doing the other
Good
ones
question,
too.
but I think what we're really thinking about is that our group is small, and that we have to concentrate on this. If we do events throughout the year, we're gonna be totally burnt out. But that doesn't mean that we can't glom on to an event and get them to do a theme, like the parade. We've asked them if they would consider a theme of 250. Or,
Yes.
something in the wintertime that the library does, or maybe the Lit Fest
Senior
somehow.
lunch.
Yeah, we should get a list of those.
Yeah, so, historical society, anything. Go ahead, Karen, you had something?
Yeah, I would say, wasn't the flyer the small one that was kind of an oversized bookmark? Didn't it have some great information on it about if you want to get involved, if you want to participate? Which
Yep.
piece was that?
Oh, yes, that was,
So I guess what I'm thinking is once we have our core events for the intense week, which we're responsible for, we have that, the tentative, and then we have that really great piece that was mostly designed. We as the committee can serve as ambassadors as we go out and talk to people saying, we're on this committee, how would you like to join us? And it
Right.
doesn't mean we have to, but it's just like how we just keep getting the word out. And I think we need to start thinking about that in terms of social media, starting promoting that. So I think you're right, Kathy. We've got our core group and what we're doing for that week, but now we also need to amplify it out and find those vectors to be able to do that so we get other people joining us.
Right.
Because school's not in session now, but you can be sure the schools are going to want to get involved next year. PEA is going to want to get involved in some way. I mean, there's lots of community organizations that are going to want to get involved. We've needed to focus on the core right now. Now, when we're ready, we need to start amplifying.
Right. As Jonathan, as you said before about the chicken barbecue and how you could conjure up 40 people to volunteer. This is not the way the world is anymore. So we have to do our part, but also conserve our energies to really concentrate on that week. the week of,
Oh, we had that budget thing. The way that,
yes,
It's like a budget planning,
Right.
and incorporate.
yeah, this.
yes, Fran did a great job, yes.
Because we need to build on all these other events to say, oh, by the way, make sure you're here for 4th of July week.
Yeah, that's really our, and.
Reminder, reminder, reminder. Tell them once, tell
Yes.
them twice, tell them 5 times,
Right, exactly.
so they remember.
Exactly. Keep putting it in front of them.
Yeah, okay.
We should work with, I think the last, because we really, what is this, our 5th or 6th meeting, right? So we've come a long way. And so now we need to start honing those, like, budget, how we could possibly have Bob Kowacki do like a Facebook page, Instagram, and we start hammering this stuff. And other ways to get the word out, right?
And we have our communication.
So I think you brought up a great point, Karen, and I found it. So in that little like fundraising brochure I had made,
Yeah.
I had say like, let's make history together. And then it's like for questions, contact, or to volunteer.
Yes.
But like, who's gonna be that?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, the contact.
Well, maybe we could do an email to, we could have an email, an Exeter email, and someone, like maybe Karen and I can monitor it. Can we talk to PM about doing that, or?
Yeah, I just think there's going to be a lot of other groups that, I think there's 2 pieces. I think there's one that where we're piggybacking on other things that already exist. Certainly we're doing that with Park and Rec, and we're doing that with the Chamber. But I also think there's going to be other groups that are going to want to do their own thing. So for example, next year, there's just a lot. And so I just think there's going to be other groups that are going to want to jump in and want to be added to our calendar of events. Of which we're not doing anything, we're just the hub.
Exactly, because that's really what we can do.
Yeah, our charge is the week, but our other charge is to make sure that we're being inclusive, to get the information out and invite others to participate.
Right.
Yeah, there's also the state website that is doing the same thing where they just, send us your information.
Yeah.
And the federal one too.
Yeah. All right. So good discussion.
Motion to adjourn.
And don't forget that July 15th is the next meeting. So you won't be here. Everybody else, Karen, are you going to be here? July 15th? Okay. We need 4. So.
No, I'll be there. All right, listen, I'm going to jump. Thank you all. Have a great 4th of July, and I'll see you on the 15th. Bye for now.
Thanks, Karen. And we will adjourn.
Have a good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
be
you
thinking
for
of you all
tuning in
day.
to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.